All right,
Oh
you
my
want to do
gosh.
a...
That's funny.
All
That's a
right.
power move right there. Oh my gosh.
Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. Is your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief AP Gaines, and we are joined by a very special guest. It's just Ian. Ian, how are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good, and I've been enjoying our videos. So hopefully this one goes just as well as the last. I'm very looking forward to today's video with you, though.
I sure am as well. So just like he said, we did another video over on his channel. I'm not sure if my video is going to come out before or after his, so go check out his if you haven't already. So today we're talking about the 10 characters, the top 10 characters that you should never farm. We're talking characters that have absolutely no use in this game, but people for some reason still like to invest some of their resources into, and we're going to make sure that we put an end to that. Ready to go, Ian?
Let's do it, man.
So as you can see, I've hopped into the Galactic Republic tag, and I'm going to talk about a group of characters. I'm going to give you some more bang for your buck. This is going to be more than top 10 because, you know, here at the 69th Precinct, we give you all that we can. There's a bunch of good characters up here. C-3PO is useful, Padme Amidala is useful, Rex. Mace Windu even has some use because he's a capital ship. I'm talking about Galactic Republic Jedi. Eth Koth, Amagun Dai. Level 69 Cup is obviously a must. Luminara, not necessarily super important. People love to put Galactic War currency into her right away. Kit Fisto, Ayla Secura. These Jedi do not have a use. Eventually, we might get some reworks in the future. We don't have them yet. We're under any lead plus having our Conehead Kiadamundi. They could be viable. You might see videos of them doing massive damage in territory wars, but that's a fluke. These characters are completely useless. Do not spend any of your resources whatsoever going after them until we get some sort of update in the future where maybe they're viable.
All right, so my next one I want to go talk about are some of the Nightsisters. So, yeah, you have a lot of them being pretty good. I think like 5 of them are pretty good, but there's a few of them in here that just are so bad. So, a couple to mention that are just really not worth farming whatsoever would be Initiate and also the Acolyte. So a while ago, you could solo, I think, Phase 3 of the HSTR, but now you have Kylo Ren, so why even bother with the Initiate? And Acolyte has just never been good, so, like, why even bother? I'm actually going to toss in Talia to this list because she is very bad, besides one aspect of this game, and that's in the Secrets and Shadows Assault Battle, but guess what? That Assault Battle sucks, so I'm not even going to put her on this at all. For wanting to farm. She's actually pretty terrible, so don't farm her. But everybody else here, I'd say go for it. But these other 3 are just so dang bad. Don't go for those at all.
And I've just been rewatching Clone Wars, and I forgot how cute Talia was, so I'm going to push back a little bit. Talia is definitely worth it because she is so beautiful, but I agree, Nightsisters is not the way to go. Next, we have the Rogue One faction. Now, I want to have a little caveat. Cassian and/or K2SO, me and Ian both agree, are very useful under a Mon Mothma lead. Yes. And unless you're some crazy, you know, admiral in the Empire, you're not really going to use POW all that much with the Zeta. But we got Chirrut, Baze, middling characters. I would say don't really invest any resources into them whatsoever. Jyn Erso, you're never going to use her. Bistan, useful for ships, but that's super endgame whale territory. Scarif, Rebel Pathfinder, not really. Bodhi Rook, easily the best character in the game. I don't know what people talk about when they say you should never farm Bodhi Rook. He's definitely fantastic. And that's our third faction you should never farm.
And my next one I have on this little fun list today is Ahsoka Tano, wow. Fulcrum. And this one could be good if we got some like new additions to her faction tags. But at the moment, man, she is just so bad. I don't remember the last time I got any use out of my Gear 12 Ahsoka Fulcrum. Yeah, she has her little meditate and her whirlwind can do some nice damage, but like, at the end of the day, this is just like wasted gear. You know, no one will really have any spot for her in a team. Yeah, she's a rebel, but there are so many better rebels to use in this game with like the COS squad. So my next one for this list is Fulcrum, unless we get some new tags added onto her factions. So there we go. Mine's Fulcrum.
And, you know, Fulcrum will always have a special place in my heart. After Urz lost to Heinzian Grid in that big GAC, I actually ran into him at a bar. We spent 4 hours talking about how beautiful she was. He was thinking about leaving his wife, who we all love seeing on stream, for a blow-up doll of Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. But if we're talking strictly Galaxy of Heroes, not necessarily a character that you really want to farm. Next, I want to talk about a group of characters who don't necessarily have a tag in common, but they are the meme characters. We're talking Mob Enforcer, Ugnaught, stuff like that. And before you guys get any crazy ideas, Cup is not a meme character. Cup is viable under any lead. Cup's not a meme character. But you guys might be watching AP Gains videos for a couple months now. Maybe you're a new subscriber, and you know that we thrive entirely on memes. So you might be inclined to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll be part of it by getting a Mob Enforcer. Maybe I'll get an Ugnaught, something like that. Maybe I'll get a Lobot because you're an old Lobot versus the meta fan. Don't do it. If you want to be efficient, don't get the meme characters. I know it's tempting, but you got to stay away.
Okay, so my next one here today, guys, is a bunch of smugglers. So I have also had this character, Gear 12, for a long, long time. And this was back in the HAT raid days when it was first out. And this is young Han Solo. This guy is so, so bad. But also, I would like to add to how bad they are. Lando, young Lando, and also Kira. I would say Vandor is definitely great still in this game. But those three right there, you do not need to farm them. You could probably get some nice use out of Kira, but in today's game, you don't need to have her. She is just not that very necessary, and there's far better scoundrels to use. So she has gone down way far on the list. And the other, young Han and young Lando, they've never been used at all. I think the only good use out of young Lando has been his ship, but you don't need to have his ship either. So yeah, my three I would not farm would be Kira, young Lando, and young Han. That's mine.
Now, Ian brought up a really interesting point. He has, young Han Gear 12 for raid purposes, you said?
Yes, sir.
Well, see, if you're an AP Gains subscriber, you know that the better strategy is actually just get carried by your guildmates so you don't need to buy all of these characters, gear up these characters you don't necessarily need. Do you need a Magma Trooper? No, you don't. You just get carried into a team that can sim the Rank Core raid. Do you need any characters for the HAT raid? No, you just get carried by a guild that can sim the HAT raid. Do you need all of your geos so that you can get Watt Shards? You don't. My guildmates hate me. They don't know I have a YouTube channel. They talk about kicking me all the time. I'm not going to get my Geonosian Brood Alpha up to 7 stars. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it.
And the last one on my side I want to talk about for today, it's going to be some bounty hunters. So I know a lot of these guys are going to be used in their certain parts of the game, with fleet and whatnot, or just, in GACs and TWs. But these two in particular, they really have no use whatsoever in either of those facets of the game. So first one I'm going to talk about is Embo. I don't think I've ever seen or had to use Embo in any part of my game. Yeah, he can do some nice damage, but guess what? There are 2 Fets and now a Mandalorian who can disintegrate somebody. So why even bother with some damage when you already have those 3? And, he can probably be good in some other aspects of the game, maybe like a plug-and-play character, but honestly just so bad. And then the next one I want to talk about is Greedo. I think the only use I've gotten out of my Gear 12 Greedo was for the raid. I think it was the HSTR raid. Trying to do like bunch of basics, because with his basic, you can just keep going if you keep critting and you have that chance right on his unique. But outside of that, I don't think I've ever touched my Greedo. I don't think he's ever been useful. He got his little touch up and a little bit of a Zeta added on, but man, you don't need this guy. He's such a waste. He's like a garbage tier Han Solo, and we don't want to have Greedo, so do not farm him.
And we missed a ton of characters. As you can see, I have my whole roster open up. You can see my farms. You can see all of the relics and stuff like that. If you ever want to know what characters you should not farm, pull up a roster of your favorite YouTubers. See this button right here? It will invert. And you can see all of the characters that no one really bothered farming. And the last on the list, the character that you should absolutely, under no circumstances, even if Arnold tells you to do so, farm, is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren sucks. Don't ever farm him.